Washington Commanders' 2025 schedule has now been leaked just hours before the NFL officially releases the NFL schedule for the 2025 NFL regular season. Welcome into the Commanders Report. I'm your host, Jack Sperry. Today, we are breaking down the leak of the 2025 Commanders schedule here. So before we get into the content today, like the video if you haven't already. It's the free and easy way to help out our channel, guys, without donating anything to the channel or anything like that. It's free to click that thumbs up icon, and it really does help us out. So if you're excited for Commanders football here in 2025, kick off today's show by clicking that thumbs up icon. So the Commanders will start their season here by going up against the division rival New York Football Giants at home at Northwest Stadium there in Landover, Maryland. Of course, it'll be the NFL debut of Abdul Carter, who will most likely be lining up opposite a former or a fellow first-round pick in Josh Connolly Jr., the new starting right tackle for the Washington Commanders. It does appear that Russell Wilson will be the starting quarterback for the G-Men to kick off their 2025 campaign. And, of course, it will start Jaden Daniels' sophomore season here in Washington. Then in Week 2, you get your first primetime game of the season with a Thursday night game against Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field. So that one should be a very fun one, and an early primetime game where the national audience gets a look at Jaden Daniels here in 2025. Then in Week 3, a little bit of a cupcake. Now, you can't go into any game kind of expecting to win, and the Raiders have gotten a lot better. They got Geno Smith, they got Ashton Genty, but at home versus the Raiders, I do think that's a very winnable game for the Washington Commanders. Then in Week 4, this is the second year in a row that this team is facing off against the Atlanta Falcons. They came in for a late season Sunday Night Football match up against the Commanders last year, and really a close, really high-flying game. Of course, remember, it came down to that last-second field goal attempt from the Falcons that ended up missing. But this year, it's an early season matchup on the road in Atlanta. So Michael Penix will be trying to get some revenge against the Commanders in Week 4. Then in Week 5, the Commanders travel to SoFi Stadium to take on Justin Herbert, Jim Harbaugh, and the Los Angeles Chargers. In Week 6, you're going to be playing against the Chicago Bears at home on Monday Night Football. So that is kind of a rematch of the Hail Mary game from last year. Of course, Ben Johnson is the new head coach there in Chicago. Will be really interesting to see this matchup between number 1 and number 2 overall picks in the 2024 NFL draft between Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels there in an early season matchup. Then you got your next divisional matchup here on the road at AT&T Stadium to take on the Dallas Cowboys in Arlington. Then in Week 8, you get another Monday Night Football game here and another primetime game against the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that's going to be a real good litmus test at that point in the season to see if the Washington Commanders can really hang with the big boys, hang with the teams that are going to be, in consideration for the Lombardi Trophy this year. If they can go on the road in Arrowhead and take down Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, I think that will be a big sign that the Commanders could be Super Bowl champions here in 2025. So let us know down there in the comment section, how long have you been a Washington football fan? Let me know the year that you started cheering on the Burgundy and Gold down there in the comment section for today's pin question. In just a second here, I'm going to tell you about our sponsor today at Fanatics. And while I'm telling you about Fanatics today, let me know how long you've been a fan of this football team. And with that, let's have word from our sponsor here at Fanatics. And if you are a true fan of the Burgundy and Gold and you don't have a Jaden Daniels jersey yet, what are we doing, man? This is going to be a jersey that you're going to be able to wear for the rest of your life. And you guys can get it right now when you go to chatsports.com/Daniels. If you use that link, it's in the comments and description of today's show, and you make a purchase, Fanatics sends us part of the proceeds here at the Commanders Report to help us, cover all of our different expenses, the rent, keeping the lights on, paying for new equipment, new graphics, all that different stuff. So if you want to help yourself out and you want to help out our channel today in a small way, you can go to chatsports.com/Daniels and pick up your brand new Jaden Daniels Commanders jersey today. Then we get to Week 9 here, where once again, the Commanders are going to be playing on prime time, this time at home versus the Seattle Seahawks. Obviously, Sam Darnold, you got Cooper Kupp in there now this offseason. That's going to be a very interesting team there in Seattle this year, in my opinion. Then you get a tough matchup in Week 10 at home once again, but it is against the Detroit Lions, a team that should definitely be in the mix to represent the NFC in this year's Super Bowl. Of course, it's a rematch of last year's divisional matchup matchup where the Commanders shockingly took down the Detroit Lions in the Motor City. Then in Week 11, you travel to Madrid, Spain to take on the Miami Dolphins. I like the fact that this is an away game for the Washington Commanders because you don't have to waste one of your home games where it's going to be pretty much a neutral site game, but you use up one of your away games for this particular matchup. So this is going to be an interesting one because it's probably going to be a little bit warm there in Madrid, and that definitely favors Miami because Tua Tagovailoa, their quarterback, plays a lot better in warmer weather. So maybe that's not exactly what you want to see when you're going up against the Miami Dolphins, but that will be a very fun matchup that'll be held in Spain. Then after your international game, the Commanders do get a Week 12 bye here, followed by another primetime game here with the Denver Broncos in Week 13. That's going to be Bo Nix versus Jaden Daniels, to the two front runners for Offensive Rookie of the Year last year and the two best performing rookie quarterbacks. And last year's quarterback class will be dueling in Week 13 on Sunday Night Football. Then in Week 14, you travel to Minnesota at US Bank Stadium to take on J.J. McCarthy, another quarterback in the 2024 NFL draft class at the quarterback position there in Week 14. Then in Week 15, you travel to the New York Football Giants. Of course, I think at that point, the Giants are going to be coming off of their bye in Week 14. So could that be kind of a transition point for them to go to rookie quarterback Jackson Dart? Could that be his potential debut for the G-Men? That would certainly be an interesting matchup between the two JDs here in the NFC East. Then in Week 16, you get your first matchup here with the Philadelphia Eagles on a Saturday. That one will be held at Northwest Stadium in Landover, Maryland. So you get that first matchup at home. Then you get your second matchup versus the Dallas Cowboys at home on Christmas. So that's going to be probably a colder weather football game for a warm weather team there in Dallas. I love the chances of the Commanders coming out on top in that one. Then in Week 18, you travel to the Link in Philadelphia for your second matchup versus the Eagles in 3 weeks. And I really do think, guys, this final kind of 3-game stretch is going to decide if the Commanders win the division this year. I think it's going to be a very tight race. And if you can win 2 or 3 of these final 3 matchups here, I think the Commanders are going to be walking away with the NFC East crown here in 2025. So get hyped for me down there in the comments section. Which Commanders game are you the most excited for this year? For me personally, I'm most excited for the season finale versus the reigning Super Bowl champions and NFC East champions Philadelphia Eagles, because something tells me the division is going to come down to that season finale game. So just to recap here, you got the Giants in Week 1, Packers in Week 2 on Thursday Night Football, followed by the Raiders and Falcons. Then you get the Chargers on the road in Week 5. You get another primetime game in Week 6 versus Caleb Williams and the Bears. You play the Cowboys for the first time this year in Dallas in Week 7. Then you play the Chiefs on the road in Week 8 on primetime. You get another primetime game in Week 9 versus the Seahawks. You have that matchup versus the Lions in Week 10. You travel to Spain in Week 11 to play the Dolphins before your bye in Week 12. Then you get another primetime game, this time against the Broncos in Week 13. Then you get a nice little break from primetime here in Week 14 and 15, going up against the Vikings and Giants respectively. And then you finish out the season with 3 really marquee matchups, 2 against the Eagles and 1 against the Cowboys on Christmas. So, I think that this is a pretty decent schedule here for the Washington Commanders. You're playing teams around the times that you want to play them in the schedule, and I'm really excited to see how this season is going to shake out for the Burgundy and Gold. Tomorrow on the Commanders Report will be my first Washington Commanders season record prediction. I'll let you guys know how many games, at least right now, that I think the Commanders will win in 2025, and I'll let you guys know whether I think that they will be crowned NFC East champions for the first time in a little while now on tomorrow's show. So make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Thank you guys so much for stopping by today. If the schedule release comes out later and if there's any mix-ups or anything like that, we might put out another video today to kind of set the record straight, but this has been the leaked version of the Commanders 2025 schedule. It's probably going to end up being this way, but if it doesn't, we will make a video kind of correcting any mistakes. But make no mistake, guys, this is probably what it's going to end up being here. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already for our record prediction video tomorrow. And until then, guys, go raise some hell.